Hello everyone, my name is Michael. Have you heard the phrase, I bind you Satan, I rebuke you Satan? Do Christians have the authority to bind or rebuke Satan? In today's video we're going to answer that question. Open your Bibles to Matthew chapter 16 verse 15 through 19. But you, he asked them, who do they say I am? Simon Peter answered, You're the Messiah, the Son of the living God. And Jesus responded, Simon, son of Jonah, you're blessed because flesh and blood did not reveal this to you, but my Father in heaven. And I also say to you that you're Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the forces of Hades will not overpower it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth is already bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth is already loosed in heaven. Two important terms, binding and loosing, and keys to the kingdom of heaven. Binding and loosing was a Jewish phraseology which meant bind, forbid, loose, permit. Verse 15 and 16. Jesus asked Peter, Who do they say I am? Peter declares, You're the Christ, the Messiah. In verse 18, Jesus identifies that Peter is the rock on which he will build his church. Verse 19, we see our first important phrase, keys to the kingdom of heaven. This was a metaphor for authority. Jesus was giving Peter the authority to bind, forbid, or loose, permit something. Notice it also says, whatever was bound or loose was already bound or loose in heaven. So Peter was going to carry it out on earth. So what was it? It was the preaching of the gospel. Whoever accepted the gospel in faith was loosed from their sin, and the kingdom was open to them. Whoever rejected the gospel was bound in their sin, and the kingdom was shut to them. Let's look at a parallel passage. Matthew 18, 15 through 18. If your brother sins against you, go and rebuke him in private. If he listens to you, you have won your brother. But if he won't listen, take one or two more with you, so that by testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses, every fact may be established. If he pays you no attention to them, tell the church. But if he doesn't pay attention even to the church, let him be like an unbeliever or a tax collector to you. I assure you, whatever you bind on earth is already bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth is already loose in heaven. The context of this passage is church discipline. It's outlining the process of excommunication of an unrepentant sinner. The church had the authority to bind, forbid the sinner from fellowship with the church. They also had authority to loose, permit him back to fellowship with the church. Now looking at Matthew 16 and 18, we see no mention of Satan, binding Satan, or demons. The context of these passages are church discipline and proclamation of the gospel. What about rebuking Satan? Jude 1, 8 through 9. Yet in like manner, these people also, relying on the dreams, defile the flesh, reject authority, and blaspheme the glorious ones. But when the archangel Michael, contending with the devil, was disputing about the body of Moses, he did not presume to pronounce a blasphemous judgment, but said, The Lord rebuke you. This is saying not even the archangel Michael during this dispute with Satan dared to rebuke Satan. Jude is warning us that we can't rebuke Satan. Now it's time for the application and conclusion portion. So can Christians have the authority to bind or rebuke Satan? The answer is no. In fact, Jude warns against it. We do have the authority, however, to declare the gospel. If they respond in faith, then the kingdom is open to them and they're loose from their sin. If they reject the gospel, they're bound in their sin and the kingdom is shut. The church has the authority to excommunicate unrepentant sinners or permit or loose them back into communication.